The purpose of this video is to just give a detailed step-by-step understanding of precisely what to do to make sure that your project um, and workbook are properly submitted. So as you know, your project is submitted in your PebblePad portfolio. So your PebblePad portfolio is the asset in PebblePad that you use to create your workbook. So you should all have made a workbook already. Obviously, this is one I've just mocked up. So once you already have a workbook created, you want to first of all be sure that it's submitted for assessment. You could submit at any time up to the deadline, so the sooner you actually do the submission, the better. We prefer to have this done at the very start of the module, and so most of you will have done this already, but if you haven't already done this, just to reiterate, once you've created and then saved, got to make sure it's actually saved, a workbook asset within, sorry, a portfolio asset within PebblePad, you go up here to the top right where it says I want to, and I want to share, and you choose with Atlas. You'll see here it says for assessment, so with Atlas. I want to share with Atlas. Once you select that, it'll bring up workspaces. Depending on what modules you're attached to, you'll see different workspaces here. You would click on, so here for example, this would be to share for media production project in the year 2021. So you'll click on that and you'll get the full details, and all you have to do is agree to the terms of use and click to share asset. Now when you've done that, your asset will be, your workbook, your portfolio will be submitted. So all you need to do is you can continue to work on your workbook all the way up to your deadline, and if you have an extension, all the way up to your extension date. And what happens is at the deadline, PebblePad automatically locks and doesn't allow you to make any more edits, and that's the final version of the workbook that will be submitted. So to submit your actual project, what I ask students to do is to create an additional tab along the top called Final Project, and then that means there's absolutely no confusion whatsoever about what qualifies as your final piece of work, because throughout a workbook there'll be lots of different iterations and drafts included. So it's really important to make it absolutely clear which one is the final. So if you don't know how to create a new tab, what's called a page within the portfolio, you just click here, just like you would on a tab on any browser, add a new page, and then the wheel just to the left of it, the settings, you can go in and you can change the title of that tab. Okay? So I'll just remove that one. Here is one I made earlier. On that final project page, you should have three things. You should have your project title, whatever the name of your project is. You should have some text. This is your redrafted proposal that's been redrafted to function as an abstract or an artist statement, depending on what's more appropriate for your project. But so here you will be providing a redrafted version of your proposal that reflects the project as it stands in its final form and offers anyone looking at your final project a little bit of context about what the project is supposed to be. So you have your project title, you have your redrafted proposal, which will be redrafted into an abstract. There's just some Latin in there, filler text. And then if your project is an online asset, a website or similar, you simply create a link, and you do this by writing any text in a text block, and up here you can see there's a hyperlink. In the hyperlink, you can choose to link to an asset in your asset store. What you want is URL web address. Okay, and then in there you put in the URL, the web address of your online platform, and confirm, and now you can see it's a hyperlink. The only other alternatives that you would have is if you are submitting a film, or if you are submitting a photography or image-based project. So for a film, it's simple, just add content and select video, and embed a film directly from your asset store into PebblePad. If you are working with photography and images, then you can place images on this page using the add content and select image, just as I have here. But you should do one of these two things. For your final images, you should either, as well as embedding them on this page, include a OneDrive link or similar to a repository where you have all of your images in the highest resolution that you have them, because it embeds these with quite a small resolution. Alternatively, what you can do is, if you've already placed an image in, you can click on that image properties. If you go back up to the top right here, you'll see there's a panel called properties. In this panel, you can link the image through. So, for example, you can link to another asset, or you can link to a URL like we did before. If you just leave open image in new tab, this will mean that you will create a hyperlink to the full resolution version of the image that you uploaded. So just to show you that, here's an image that I've added. I'm just going to preview this so we can see what it will be like in a normal browser. So here's my project title and my link. For an image, now that I've selected that image to open in a new tab, as you can see, it's now a hyperlink. If I click on it, you can see that I now have that image in full resolution. So either by that method, or if it's more simple, create a folder with all of your high resolution images in it, and include a link to that folder on your final project page as well. So just to reiterate, if your final project is an online asset like a website or Instagram Grid or some other external online, just simply provide a link after the project title and your abstract. If they are images, you can embed the images, but make sure you include high-res versions of the image, either linked to the embedded images or as a OneDrive folder. And finally, if it is a film, simply add content and directly embed your film in the final project page. So for those of you that have been asking, hopefully that clarifies everything. As long as that final project tab is in your PebblePad portfolio before the deadline, so that we can see it and that your PebblePad portfolio has been properly submitted, like I showed you at the start, then that's all you have to do to make sure that your practical projects are properly submitted. Any essays, so if you're doing a critical evaluation or any other essay related assignment alongside your project work, this will be handed in through Blackboard assignments as per usual. So even if you do, some students have been known to include a copy of their essay on their in their workbook or such like. That's fine if you want to do that, but you must submit your essay through Blackboard as normal for that to be considered a proper submission. So I will leave it there for now. Hopefully that has answered any questions anyone might have with regards